It is 2 in the morning. The room is dark. Everything is quiet. You are deep in sleep. Then suddenly, your eyes open. Not because of noise, not because of a nightmare, but because your bladder is full again. You get out of bed, walk to the bathroom, try not to wake anyone. You tell yourself it is normal. Many people wake up at night to pee. Maybe it is just part of getting older. Maybe your body just works this way. So you go back to bed. A few hours later, it happens again. Another trip to the bathroom, another broken sleep, and by morning your body feels tired, heavy, and unfocused. The strange part is that millions of people deal with this every night and still believe it is completely normal. But according to many urologists, waking up 2 or 3 times every night to urinate is not something the body is supposed to do regularly. In fact, doctors say one of the most common causes is something surprisingly simple. It is not always age, it is not always a medical condition, and it is not always a weak bladder. Very often, the real problem is much simpler. It is how and when people drink water. That may sound strange at first. Water is healthy. Everyone knows that staying hydrated is important for the kidneys, the brain, and the entire body. Doctors constantly remind people to drink more water, but very few people are told the correct way to drink it, and that mistake quietly follows them into the night. Here is something many people do without realizing it. They stay busy during the day. They forget to drink enough water. Work, errands, and daily responsibilities take over. Hours pass without proper hydration. Then evening arrives. Dinner is served. The body suddenly feels thirsty. A large glass of water appears on the table, then another, sometimes tea, sometimes juice. Later in the night, while relaxing, another drink. A glass of water before bed feels like a healthy habit. Many people even believe it helps prevent dehydration during sleep, but inside the body, something very different is happening. The kidneys are still working. They continue filtering fluids and producing urine, even while you sleep. When a large amount of water enters the body late in the evening, the kidneys must process it during the night. The result is simple. The bladder fills, and when the bladder fills, the brain sends a signal that cannot be ignored. Wake up, get up, go to the bathroom. Doctors have a name for this condition. It is called nocturia. Nocturia means waking up during the night because of the need to urinate. One occasional trip to the bathroom may not be unusual, but waking up 2, 3, or even 4 times every night can slowly destroy sleep quality. And sleep is not just rest. Sleep is when the body repairs itself. The brain clears waste. Hormones reset. The immune system strengthens. When sleep keeps getting interrupted, the body never reaches the deeper stages that it needs. Over time, the effects begin to appear. Constant fatigue during the day, difficulty focusing, mood changes, lower energy levels. Many people blame stress or age for these problems. Very few realize that the real cause might begin with something as simple as their evening drinking habits. Another common mistake also hides in plain sight. Tea or coffee late in the evening. These drinks contain caffeine, which acts as a diuretic. That means they encourage the body to produce even more urine. The bladder becomes more active, and nighttime bathroom trips become more frequent. Even herbal teas and large glasses of water right before bed can trigger the same chain reaction. Doctors often explain it with a simple rule. What goes in late must come out at night. This single rule explains why so many people wake up again and again without understanding the real reason. But the good news is that this problem often has a very simple solution. Urologists say that changing the timing and pattern of water intake can dramatically reduce nighttime urination. A small adjustment in daily habits can help the body process fluids earlier in the day instead of during sleep. Some people who follow this method begin sleeping through the night again for the first time in years. And the trick itself is surprisingly easy. In this video, you will discover the best way to drink water according to urologists so that your body stays hydrated during the day without disturbing your sleep at night. You will learn why drinking water late in the evening creates hidden problems for your bladder. You will discover the hydration schedule doctors recommend to prevent nighttime urination. You will also learn about a few lesser-known habits that silently increase the chances of waking up at night, including certain drinks and routines that many people think are harmless. Most importantly, you will learn a simple hydration strategy that can help your kidneys, your bladder, and your sleep work together instead of against each other. Many people struggle with this problem for years without realizing the solution is already within reach. And one of the most surprising facts doctors reveal is that the timing of water intake may matter just as much as the amount of water itself. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly how to drink water in a way that supports deep, uninterrupted sleep. Stay with us until the end because one of the final tips doctors recommend is something most people have never heard before, yet it can make a noticeable difference starting the very first night. If you enjoy learning simple health habits that can improve your daily life, this channel is for you. Here we explore practical medical insights, expert-backed tips, and everyday habits that help your body work better, sleep better, and live healthier. If you are new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss our upcoming videos. While you are sleeping, your body is still very active. Many people think that the kidneys slow down at night, but that is not completely true. The kidneys continue working every minute of the day and night. Their job is to filter the blood, remove waste, and balance the fluids in the body. Even when the body is resting, the kidneys are still quietly performing this important task. Every minute, blood flows through the kidneys. Waste products are separated from the blood and turned into urine. That urine slowly moves down into the bladder, where it waits until the body is ready to release it. During the daytime, this process usually goes unnoticed because people are awake and moving around. The bladder fills gradually, and when it reaches a certain level, the brain sends a signal that it is time to use the bathroom. At night, the same process continues. The difference is that the body is trying to sleep. When urine production increases during the night, the bladder fills while the brain is resting. Eventually, the pressure inside the bladder becomes strong enough to wake the brain and send a signal that cannot be ignored. That signal forces a person to wake up and go to the bathroom. One important hormone normally helps control this situation. It is called antidiuretic hormone. During sleep, the brain releases more of this hormone so the kidneys produce less urine. This is one reason healthy adults can usually sleep through the night without needing to urinate. However, this balance can easily be disturbed. One of the most common causes is drinking too much fluid late in the evening. When large amounts of water enter the body close to bedtime, the kidneys have no choice but to process that fluid during the night. The body cannot simply store unlimited water without filtering it, so the kidneys begin their work. They filter the extra fluid from the bloodstream and send it to the bladder. Slowly, the bladder fills. After some time, the bladder reaches its limit, and the brain receives a signal that it must wake up. The result is a nighttime trip to the bathroom. Another factor that many people overlook involves certain types of drinks. Some beverages increase urine production much more than plain water. These drinks contain substances known as diuretics. Diuretics stimulate the kidneys and encourage them to remove more water from the body. This means more urine is produced in a shorter amount of time. Two of the most common diuretic substances are caffeine and alcohol. Caffeine is found in coffee, tea, energy drinks, and many soft drinks. It stimulates the nervous system and also increases kidney activity. When caffeine enters the body, it signals the kidneys to push out more fluid. Even a single cup of coffee or strong tea in the evening can increase urine production several hours later. Alcohol creates a similar effect. It interferes with the hormone that normally reduces urine production during sleep. When alcohol blocks this hormone, the kidneys begin producing larger amounts of urine. That is why many people notice frequent bathroom visits after drinking alcohol in the evening. Another lesser-known cause of nighttime urination begins in the legs. Throughout the day, gravity pulls fluid downward into the lower parts of the body. This fluid slowly collects in the tissues of the legs and feet. People who sit or stand for long hours may notice swelling in their ankles or lower legs by the end of the day. While standing or sitting upright, that fluid remains trapped in the tissues of the legs. The body does not immediately remove it, but the situation changes when a person lies down. When the body becomes horizontal during sleep, gravity no longer keeps that fluid in the legs. The fluid begins to move back into the bloodstream. Once it returns to circulation, it travels through the kidneys. The kidneys then filter that extra fluid and convert it into urine. This process often occurs during the early hours of sleep, which can lead to nighttime trips to the bathroom even if a person did not drink large amounts of water before bed. Many people do not realize that their daily posture and activity level can influence nighttime urination. However, even with these natural body processes, one habit remains the most common cause of disrupted sleep. That habit is drinking most of the day's water in the evening. A typical day for many people looks like this. The morning begins with rushing to work or school. There is little time to think about hydration. A quick cup of coffee replaces water. Several hours pass. During the afternoon, the body may begin feeling slightly thirsty, but the busy schedule continues. Meetings, tasks, and responsibilities keep attention focused elsewhere. By the time evening arrives, the body is already slightly dehydrated. Dinner finally provides a moment to relax. A large glass of water appears on the table, sometimes 2 glasses, sometimes more. The body quickly absorbs that water because it has been waiting for fluids throughout the day. However, the timing of that hydration creates a problem. Drinking 2 or 3 glasses of water during dinner places a large amount of fluid into the bloodstream within a short period of time. The kidneys immediately begin filtering that fluid, but evening is also the time when the body begins preparing for sleep. Instead of processing that water during active hours, the kidneys now continue filtering it while the body rests. Within a few hours, the bladder begins filling. For many people, the first awakening happens around 2 in the morning. The bladder has reached its limit, and the brain receives the signal to wake up. After returning to bed, the kidneys may still be processing leftover fluid. By 3 or 4 in the morning, another signal appears. Another bathroom visit follows. This cycle can repeat night after night simply because of poor hydration timing. Urologists often recommend a simple but powerful strategy to solve this problem. It is known as the front-loading water rule. This strategy focuses on drinking most daily fluids earlier in the day rather than in the evening. Instead of waiting until dinner to hydrate, the majority of water intake should happen during the morning and early afternoon. Experts often suggest that around 70 to 80% of daily fluids should be consumed before late afternoon. This approach allows the body to process water while it is fully active. The kidneys are naturally more efficient during the daytime when blood circulation, metabolism, and hormone levels are working at full capacity. The bladder also empties more frequently during waking hours. As a result, the body removes excess fluid long before bedtime arrives. When evening comes, the amount of new fluid entering the body is smaller. The kidneys have less work to do overnight, and the bladder remains calmer. A simple hydration pattern may look like this: 1 glass of water soon after waking up, another glass during breakfast, 1 or 2 glasses between late morning and lunchtime, additional fluids during the early afternoon. By the time evening arrives, most hydration needs have already been satisfied. Fluid intake can then gradually decrease. Another helpful habit involves setting a clear cutoff time for larger drinks. Many sleep specialists and urologists recommend stopping large amounts of fluid 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. This time window allows the kidneys to process any remaining fluids before sleep begins. For example, if bedtime is around 10 at night, the last full drink of water could be around 7 or 8 in the evening. This does not mean a person must remain completely thirsty. Small sips of water are still acceptable if the mouth feels dry. The goal is simply to avoid large glasses of fluid that quickly fill the bladder. The difference between sipping and gulping also plays a surprisingly important role. When a person drinks a large glass of water quickly, the stomach receives a sudden rush of fluid. The body detects this excess and sends much of it directly to the kidneys for rapid filtration. This often results in a quick increase in urine production. Sipping water slowly allows the body more time to absorb and distribute fluids throughout tissues and cells. Instead of overwhelming the kidneys, the water becomes part of the body's normal hydration balance. This gentle absorption reduces the chance of sudden bladder filling. Even small changes in drinking speed can influence how quickly urine forms. Certain evening beverages also deserve attention. Coffee remains one of the most common triggers for nighttime urination. The caffeine inside coffee stimulates both the bladder and the kidneys. Even people who believe they have developed tolerance to caffeine may still experience increased urine production. Tea contains similar compounds. Some teas contain caffeine, while others may irritate the bladder lining and increase sensitivity. Soft drinks and sodas add another layer of irritation. Carbonation and sugar can stimulate the bladder and create discomfort that leads to more frequent urination. Alcohol presents its own challenges. It interferes with the hormone that helps the body conserve water during sleep. As that hormone becomes less effective, the kidneys produce more urine than usual. Reducing these drinks in the evening often leads to noticeable improvements in sleep. Another habit that can help reduce nighttime bathroom trips involves emptying the bladder before bed. This step may seem obvious, but many people skip it when they do not feel a strong urge to urinate. Even a partially full bladder can reach its limit during the night if additional urine continues forming. Taking a moment to empty the bladder completely before sleep creates extra room and reduces the chance of waking up soon after falling asleep. There is also a lesser-known technique that doctors sometimes recommend for people who spend long hours sitting or standing. As the day progresses, fluid slowly accumulates in the tissues of the lower legs. When a person lies down, that fluid returns to the bloodstream and travels through the kidneys. One way to reduce this nighttime fluid shift is to elevate the legs in the evening. Raising the legs slightly above heart level for 30 to 60 minutes encourages that trapped fluid to move back into circulation earlier in the evening. The kidneys can then process it before bedtime instead of during sleep. This simple habit can make a noticeable difference for people who experience swollen ankles or long periods of standing during the day. While occasional nighttime urination can happen to anyone, certain warning signs should not be ignored. Waking up more than 2 times every night on a regular basis may indicate an underlying health issue. Pain during urination, difficulty starting the urine stream, or a weak flow may also suggest problems within the urinary system. In men, one possible cause is an enlarged prostate. As the prostate grows, it can press against the urethra and interfere with normal bladder emptying. Diabetes may also lead to increased urine production because excess sugar in the bloodstream pulls additional water into the urine. Another condition called overactive bladder causes sudden and frequent urges to urinate even when the bladder is not completely full. When these symptoms appear regularly, consulting a doctor becomes an important step toward proper diagnosis and treatment. Nighttime trips to the bathroom may feel normal, but in many cases they are simply the result of everyday habits that can be changed. The body follows patterns. When those patterns support your natural rhythm, sleep becomes deeper, longer, and far more refreshing. The good news is that improving your sleep often starts with something very simple: the way you drink water. Let us quickly go over the most important tips again. First, try to drink most of your water earlier in the day. Your body is more active during the morning and afternoon. Your kidneys process fluids more efficiently while you are awake and moving around. When most of your hydration happens during these hours, your body has plenty of time to filter and eliminate the extra fluid before nighttime arrives. Second, begin reducing fluid intake in the evening. This does not mean you must avoid water completely. It simply means being mindful of how much you drink once the day begins to slow down. Smaller amounts of fluid in the evening place less pressure on your bladder during the night. Third, stop drinking large amounts of liquid 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. This gives your kidneys enough time to process the fluids already in your system. By the time you lie down to sleep, your bladder will be far less likely to fill quickly. Fourth, avoid drinks that stimulate urine production during the evening. Caffeine and alcohol both increase kidney activity and irritate the bladder. Coffee, tea, soda, and alcoholic drinks late in the day can quietly trigger multiple nighttime bathroom visits without many people realizing the connection. And finally, make it a simple habit to empty your bladder before going to bed. Even if you do not feel a strong urge, taking a moment to use the bathroom can prevent unnecessary wake-ups later in the night. These small changes may sound simple, but they can have a powerful effect on your sleep quality. Many people who adjust their hydration timing begin to notice longer stretches of uninterrupted sleep within just a few nights. Better sleep means better energy, clearer thinking, and a healthier body overall. Sometimes the smallest daily habits create the biggest improvements. Now, we would love to hear from you. Do you usually wake up at night to pee once or multiple times? Share your experience in the comments below. Your story might help someone else realize they are not alone in dealing with this common problem. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more simple, science-based health tips that can improve your sleep, your bladder health, and your overall well-being. And stay tuned, because in the next video, we will explore another surprising habit that can either improve or quietly damage your sleep without most people noticing. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.